If you ever feel like you love your horse, but sometimes they're just too much for you, and sometimes you wonder if maybe you are just like overfaced or horsed and you are not quite sure what to do next, this video is for you. We're going to be talking about why it is that you sometimes feel like your horse is just too much, and we're going to be talking about what it is that you can actually do about it, next steps to take, and hopefully you'll be walking away from here feeling like you are more in control of the situation and not less. Hi, I'm Ruby. I'm a whole horse stewardship trainer, and I've helped people just like you to have a better relationship with their horse and a deeper bond over the last 10 years. And today I'm going to help you do the same thing. So if you feel like you are overpowered by your horse, like maybe your horse is just too much for you, or you're feeling maybe slightly like overfaced by your horse, but maybe you really love them and you want to make it work, the most important thing to understand is that some horses just have bigger, bolder personality types, and some have bigger, bolder movements. And so what we want to understand first is this their personality that is feeling kind of out of control, or is it their kind of like conformation and body, or maybe it's both actually. And then within that, what do we need to do to help you to kind of bring you into a place where you're more compatible with your horse? So I often say, if you are not compatible with your horse, you have three options. Your first option is to bring yourself up to your horse's compatibility. So to improve yourself, to work on yourself through training, and to become a better person for your horse. The second option is to train your horse to be a better horse for you, for your personality type. And then the final option, sorry, Miss Nosy's trying to get into the camera here. The final option is to decide that this is not the right horse for you and to go find one that's a better fit. We try to avoid option 3 at all costs. So that's what we're going to be talking about here, is how we can really dive into options 1 and 2 of improving yourself or improving your horse so that you can be better matched, better suited for each other. So let's first talk about the personality types and why those might be compatible or not so compatible. So I talk a lot about these 4 personality types that I have seen emerge over my experience working with horses and people. And the ones that I see the most often feel like they have really big personalities that can feel kind of intimidating or overpowering are feelers, achievers, and voyagers. So feelers are the ones that are super sensitive, and they are also very quiet. And so these are horses that are kind of like a slow burn. They can be really intuitive. They can feel really connected and loyal, but they also can be very reactive. They can also have a lot of confidence issues. They can really need a quiet, calm, steady person to help them to feel confident in themselves, because they just don't have the confidence on their own. Achievers are the horses that are, nope, come out of here, like this one, that are very bold and confident and also very sensitive. And so those are the horses that are most often athletes, and they're most often the horses that you see, have big goals and they have big ambitions. And these are the horses, when they feel like they're too much for you, it's because they're getting like carried away. So these are the horses that like you go for one jump and then it's really hard to bring them back. So with an achiever, they don't so much need a quiet person as somebody that keeps them stimulated. So this might be the horse that needs constant interaction, like this one, that need like constant, like something to think about, something to do, a brain game, because they need you to like give them a reason to come back and be present with you, because otherwise they're just going to be like off doing their own thing, and be just getting more and more worked up and carried away. I think a lot about when I was a kid. I had a horse that I'd go on trail rides with my friends, and my friends would be like, let's go lope down our horses before we go. And I was like, oh no, mine doesn't lope down, she lopes up. The more I go, the more I do, the more hot and excited she gets. And so actually it's better if I don't go lope down with all you guys and I stay back here, and then I'll come meet you for the trail ride in a little bit. So if that's your horse's personality type, know that you have an achiever, and your approach is going to look really different than those who have a feeler. And then finally, we have the voyagers, and the voyagers are the ones that are super confident, but they're maybe less sensitive. And so they can sometimes come off as dull or pushy or bulldozers. So if you have a horse that you feel like is like going to slow motion run away with you, or they're just going to like kind of tune you out and not pay any attention to what you're saying and just do their own thing, you probably have a voyager. And those horses are going to need for you. Do not rub your butt on me. Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay. Those horses are going to need for you to be potentially a bit stronger, and to have more of like a presence, because if you're not loud enough, they're just not listening. They don't care enough to listen, and so you have to give them a reason to listen. This doesn't have to look like intimidation or punishment, which is kind of the classic way of dealing with these type of horses. But I think instead it can look a lot more like quiet, gentle reminders that your horse needs to be paying attention by keeping their brain occupied and entertained, as well as their body. So not letting them kind of have a moment to like tune you out and shut down, keeping it really interesting and engaging for them so that they stay tuned in. So to recap, we have the 3 types. If you have a feeler, your job is going to be, if you start to feel like your horse is overpowering you, is going to be a quiet, calm, confident source of like steady energy for your horse so that they can regulate themselves and come back to you. So when you have a feeler that's highly reactive, the best thing you can do is teach them to regulate and co-regulate. And I have lots of videos about that I will link below for you. If you have an achiever that you feel like just gets carried away and gets too excited, and it's not coming from a bad place, but they're just too excited and worked up, and you need them to like come back and keep their brain on the topic at hand and not get like carried away. This is the horse that lopes up, not down. This type of horse, you're going to just need to keep their brain engaged. And so you're going to need to be constantly asking them questions and giving them little tasks to keep them where you are here in the present moment and not kind of getting carried away and looking to the next thing. And again, more resources for that type linked below. And then if you have the Voyager type, your job is actually going to be sort of similar to the achiever type, except that it needs to be maybe a little bit more like slow and quiet. So with the achievers, it might be a lot of like really quick, like trotting really tight circles or working through pole grids or really giving their brain a hard workout. For the Voyagers, it's more of just like, hey, pay attention to this. Hey, we got this thing to do. Hey, let's make sure we're doing whatever. Like just keeping the questions coming, and not necessarily hard questions, but just keep talking to them so that they don't have a chance to tune you out and become a bulldozer. If you want even more resources, check out, there's a link below for a quiz. It's going to tell you which personality type you are and which type your horse is. And that's going to give you even more specific resources to be able to work through some of these things. But those are the broad strokes there. Okay, now if your concern is more of a physical thing, like you feel like your horse has a really big movement and it's hard for you to sit that movement, or you feel like maybe they even have like a big spook or a sudden quick spook. Stop messing with the camera. Come on. Come on. Go out of there. There you go. Thank you. If you feel like your horse has a really big movement or a really big spook or even like sudden quick spook that you think might unseat you, and that's more of your concern, then we're going to be looking at rider fitness as our next step to help bring you to the level of your horse. Again, working on that compatibility by changing you. And so what that's going to look like is we're going to be doing a lot more mobility, functional mobility and strength training off the horse, out of the saddle, as well as some more stuff in the saddle to help you to build your balance and strength. This is something that I see is so commonly overlooked. People think if they just ride more, they'll get better, but we really need to be doing specific work out of the saddle as well as in the saddle to improve our seat, to make ourselves more sticky, and to increase our range of motion. For these horses that have bigger movements, she's an Andalusian, so coming back postpartum, I can ride her pretty easily because her gait is really smooth and easy to sit. But if I go from her to go ride somebody else, like maybe a warm blood or even a thoroughbred that has a bigger movement than her, I suddenly find myself out of breath and my like core and hips are working way too hard to try to keep up. And so that's my reminder that I need to be doing more work out of the saddle to improve my seat so that I can do better work in the saddle. And so if you find yourself in that boat, there's so many great resources online. I'm working on developing my resource library for this, but it's pretty sparse at the moment, admittedly. But if you're interested in learning more about some of these things that I do with my students in my lesson program to help them develop a better seat and to be stickier riders, leave me a comment because that will encourage me to go ahead and make those videos, because if I know you want them, I will be more inspired to make them. So let me know if that's something that's helpful. I hope that was helpful. Again, there's tons more resources linked below. Please check those out. And until next time, make sure to hug your horse for me.